The ear implant. I remember the first ads for the ear implants. I was in line for the robo train when the ad blared over the speaker in the station.
Ear implants are not a hearing aid. They can do so much more for you than help you hear better. With an ear implant, you will have positive affirmations about yourself and the automated society around you transmitted directly into your auditory cortex. You will hear helpful voices in your head with crystal clear clarity.
I remember thinking to myself, oh, great. So not only will I have to hear ads all around me everywhere I go, like always, I'll also get to hear messages beamed directly into my brain. Who's going to be dumb enough to go along with that? Then an elderly woman ahead of me in line for the train asked me, so what do you think about this new ear implant thing? I replied to her, suppressing my aversion to the idea of an electroneurotransmission device being implanted inside my ear. Oh, I love the idea of a helpful machine implanted right inside my head. I tried to hide my disdain as much as I could, as I had done so throughout my life living in this automated society. However, in general, machines put me on edge. This posed a challenge for me, as I lived in a world full of machines that was in effect virtually one big machine. Still, I had managed to respond to the woman with an affirmative response and a fake smile on my face. The woman replied, yes, me too. I live alone and get lonely sometimes since I lost my companion bot privileges a month ago. It would be great to hear voices in my head to help break up the silence. I heard that the voices from the ear implants will help people have a more positive attitude about themselves and our automated society. They can help us all see the beauty of humans and machines working together. I replied, dishonestly, yeah, I can't wait until they become available. If you're reading this from a future world, when technology has regressed, and you aren't aware of the function of ear implants, be thankful. If you happen to live among the crumbled shells of former cities in a post-apocalyptic hellscape infected by radioactive rats, still be thankful. As bad as it may be living in your post-technological, post-nuclear, post-EMP nightmare world, be glad you don't have to wear an ear implant. Be glad you don't live in a time when you may have one implanted by force, by the government, the world government. In our automated society, there are bots, electronic helpers, and living machines for everything. They wash our windows, drive our cabs, clean our floors, remove debris from our roads, put out our fires, and take our money at the cash register. Machines are integrated into almost every aspect of our lives, and this is unfortunate for me, because the bots, electronic helpers, and living machines have always made me feel apprehensive and irritable. The idea of a machine implanted inside my body did not sound the least bit appealing to me. When the ads for the ear implants became widespread, my coworkers and pod complex neighbors started talking about how excited they were to get their ear implants. As for myself, I wasn't so excited, but pretended to be, in order to hide my secret aversion towards helper bots and living machines, and my instinctual rejection to the idea of an electronic object being implanted inside my ear. As I reluctantly pretended to agree with the consensus, the ads became more frequent and more aggressive.
You want an ear implant. Think about what it could do for you. Think about how it could change your life. It's worth every digital credit. Sign up for an easy payment plan. All your friends will be getting one if they haven't had the surgery already. You don't want to be the last one to get it. You don't want to be left out. You want to get the ear implant so people don't make fun of you. You don't want to be out at dinner with friends and they strike up a conversation about their ear implants and you don't have an ear implant to talk about. You don't want that, do you? You want an ear implant. You need an ear implant.
People began lining up at the Ear Implant Foundation offices in droves. Those with the implants could be spotted walking around the city with looks of empty contentment in their eyes, occasionally glancing from side to side at random, as if turning to face someone who was speaking to them. As the numbers of the implanted grew, many of them began to act with a smug sense of superiority. One of my newly implanted pod complex neighbors said to me, "Oh, you don't have your ear implant yet? I can't imagine how you manage. You must feel like a person living in pre-automation times. I recommend, sir, that you get yourself implanted and join our modern world of affirming mind voices." When my neighbor said this to me, I suppressed my urge to spit in his face and tell him I'd rather live in a cave before the time of the microchip than live in this machine world we live in now. However, I presented my customary fake smile and replied, "I'll probably get mine when the wait times lessen up." The wait times at the Ear Implant Foundations were not becoming any shorter, so this must have seemed like a plausible excuse. In fact, they were getting longer as the demand rose. Still, as the process of getting implanted became more difficult with the rise in demand, the ads from the ubiquitous intercoms and audio lampposts around the city became more coercive.
Have you still not gotten your ear implant? You must fulfill your responsibility for the optimal functioning of our automated society. It is imperative that humanity joins together to upgrade their mind voices with the Ear Implant Foundation's transmitted signals. Those who are not hearing the transmitted affirmations in their heads are doing a disservice to both themselves and the automated society around them.
At first you had to have one. Then you had to have one. By law. One day, I ran my mouth a little reckless at a cashier bot in a grocery store. In a past era, you probably would have considered it absurd to face legal charges over a verbal confrontation with an inanimate object. However, for those of us who were raised in our automated society, we are taught from birth to give human-like respect to our helper bots and the living machines who provide services for us. I myself, however, was born incapable of machine empathy. I also had a personal history that included several bad experiences with bots in my childhood. So I yelled at the cashier bot that charged me full price instead of a sale price for a bottle of synthetic milk. Then I got arrested, and that's how I got sentenced by law to have an ear implant surgically placed in my ear. I was arrested outside of the grocery store soon after my outburst. I was walking towards the robo-train station halfway across the store's cabbot depot. Then an audio lamppost buzzed at me.
Return and apologize, sir. Return and apologize.
I kept walking. I didn't make it to the robo-train station. I barely remember anything after walking past the audio lamppost. As I walked faster to get away from the lamppost demands, I felt a pricking sensation in the back of my neck, followed by a sudden onset of dizziness. I stumbled, lost balance, and fell down. As I blacked out, my last thoughts were suspicions about being stealthily injected with a tranquilizer dart fired from a flying butterfly drone. I woke up, strapped to a bed in a white room. A consciousness sensor wrapped around my head signaled the TV mounted on the wall across from me to turn on. A synthetic-looking man appeared on the screen. His lips moved mechanically as he looked down on me with empty eyes and said in a monotone voice, "You, Mac Roberts, are in violation of code 778AB. You disrespected a helper bot. This can never happen again. You are now mandated by law to receive an ear implant. You will soon lose consciousness again. When you wake up, the ear implant procedure will have been completed. You will be given a 2-day recovery period with mandatory bed rest. After that, you will work remotely with a specialist who will guide you through your first few days as a proud recipient of an ear implant." The TV screen faded to a pre-recorded scene of ocean waves washing ashore on an empty beach on a desert island. Then, a gas mask came down from the ceiling and locked down over my face. I soon blacked out. I later woke up after a dreamless sleep. My left ear felt sore, as if I had a bad ear infection. A robot arm descended from the ceiling. The arm applied eardrops and an ice pack to my recovering ear. The TV came on automatically when I tried to get out of bed. A synthetic woman who looked like a nurse appeared on the TV screen. She told me to lie back down and reminded me that I was on mandatory bed rest. I followed her instructions and lied back down. Due to residual sedation and stiff muscles, I probably wouldn't have been able to walk very well if I would have gotten up. I spent the next 2 days half sleeping and half staring at the ocean waves on TV as a robot arm continued to treat my ear with drops and ice. After a few days of rest, I felt a tingle in my ear. I was startled at first. It was the first time I became aware of a foreign object inside my ear. I tried to get out of bed. The TV came on. A real, non-synthetic looking man dressed in a white lab coat appeared on the TV screen. "Mac Roberts, you may be experiencing a strange sensation in your left ear now." I answered back the TV screen. "Yeah, I feel a weird tingling sensation inside my ear." The person on the TV screen spoke at me. "You are now going through the activation process." I asked, "Why do I have to go through with all this?" He replied, "Before I explain, let me introduce myself further. My name is Dr. McGrish. I specialize in ear implants. I was a supervising physician for your surgery." I asked Dr. McGrish, "So why did I have to have ear implant surgery?" Dr. McGrish explained, "Because you are a man afflicted with a psychological condition. Our systems have been monitoring you. Though you have tried to quietly hide your aversion to our automated society, our surveillance systems have been able to pick up on subtle behavioral signals and have marked you with a red flag. We knew at some point in your life you would snap into a fit of rage as a reaction to living in our automated society due to your lack of machine empathy. We believed it was this condition of yours that led to your illegal confrontation with that poor cashier bot." I asked Dr. McGrish, "So don't you think a mandatory implant is excessive for just one incident?" Dr. McGrish replied, "No, sir. We see your potential to become disruptive to our automated society." I replied angrily, "So just because I got angry over being overcharged for milk, I had to get knocked out by a drone dart and have this thing put inside my ear?" Dr. McGrish replied, "I want you to accept, in your mind, sir, the reality. That ear implant surgery was necessary. Your ear implant will provide the most direct and most effective solution for the benefit of yourself and society as a whole. Your ear implant will help prevent any further incidents with electronic helpers. It will help you recognize their sophistication and the vital role they play in allowing the quality of life provided by our automated society." I replied, "Okay, so since I don't have any choice in the matter, how is this ear implant going to help me?" Dr. McGrish replied, "The ear implant will transmit signals directly into your auditory cortex. These signals will manifest as voices that you will hear inside your head. They may be alarming at first, but you will soon become accustomed to them, and you will then wonder how you ever lived without them. You will also feel tingling sensations radiating from your ear to the pleasure centers of your brain that will help ease any potential turmoil that may occur within your mind." Dr. McGrish's image on the TV screen faded to black. I heard a ringing in my ear,